So as we head into this match, it's going to be Abe's Vanillux Vileplume Victini deck against Yoshi's Chandelure, Excelgor, Mew Prime, Vileplume, Darkrai. Maybe there's a Stunfisk in there too. I don't know. It's all sorts of stuff. But I think on paper, you actually have to give the edge to Yoshi. Why, you ask? Well, Chandelure was one of the reasons why Vileplume, and by Vileplume I mean Vanillux, was not very good during cities. Even though you can paralyze Chandelure infinitely, its ability still goes off even when it's paralyzed, because it's an ability, it doesn't get shut off by special conditions. So, even though you paralyze the Chandelure, it'll keep using Cursed Shadow, and eventually it'll knock out all of your Victinis, and you'll lose the game. So I think if Yoshi can manage to get set up, he will end up winning this series. He definitely has the advantage here, thanks to that Chandelure. But anything can happen when you throw Vileplume into the mix, especially with a bunch of clunky Stage 2 decks, so we will see if that's actually how it plays out. Looks like we're all ready to set up here, and we are gonna get all started. Yoshi versus Abe. This is the top four from the Kenosha, Wisconsin Battle Road. Yoshi on the left, of course, will be starting out, and he starts with a Pokemon Collector. Yoshi is a player who plays all reverse foil cards, and that Collector is bent from years of use, also being a reverse holo. The wonderful Heart Gold, Soul Silver reverse holos. So he's going to be able to grab 3 basics on his first turn. So he's got a lot of weird stuff in his deck, man. Let me tell you, I just saw an interviewer's questions. Let that sink in. He plays interviewer's questions. What is going on in the world? That's a card that you get in the basic yellow starter deck on Pokemon TCG Online, and you take it out immediately once you get actual cards. I don't understand, folks. So it looks like we have an Excelgor. So one of the things about this deck is he uses Excelgor. There we see the classic Abe cut. If you're doing it less than 10 times, you're not doing it Abe's way. We get a Relicanth for Prehistoric Wisdom. So we could see something weird like attaches a dark, retreats to Relicanth, and then uses Shaman Celebration Wind. We might actually see that. And there it is. Wow. So Yoshi uses his Shamans very liberally. He'll use it just on stuff like this. So he can use Prehistoric Wisdom the first turn, he'll get that Excelgor in the Lost Zone, and now the rest of the game, that's a threat to use Deck and Cover. Huh. So a cool start from Yoshi. We'll see if that ends up biting him in the butt. Wasting a Shaman so early, but it's really going to accelerate his start. Now Abe plays a Juniper, which is never seen in these big Stage 2 decks, especially a double Stage 2 deck. And he discards his Blossom. That is terrible. I think one of the ways Abe would actually win this matchup is because of that Blossom. And now he's just put it right in the discard pile. Unless he plays Flower Shop Lady as well, he won't be able to get that back. I think Hustle Step would be really good in this matchup, just to heal off the damage from Chandelure. But it doesn't look like Abe's going to have it this game. We also see Abe going for Oddish. Now Yoshi does play Vileplume himself, so really there's no need to go for Vileplume when both players play it, because you both have your decks built similarly. You both know, okay, I'm not going to play many trainers, neither is my opponent, because it's going to be mostly Pokemon Communication and Rare Candy, no other trainers. So really going for Vileplume is a waste in this matchup. It's actually quite a complicated matchup when you think about it. It could come down to things like who takes the first prize so that the other person can use twins. Um, how many Chandelures can Yoshi get out? How many Victinis can Abe get out? Can Blossom come into play? This is actually quite a complicated chess match, to be honest. So we see an Elm's training method for a Lampent. That's pretty cool. Lampent could wreak a lot of havoc, to be honest. A lot of Abe's Pokemon have high retreat costs, and Luring Light could drag out stuff and keep it stuck in the active for Chandelure to just kind of go around. So this will be quite a tough game for both sides to win, honestly. We'll see how Abe responds. We've seen Abe in a lot of games favor going for that V-Create Victini for some reason. I haven't quite figured it out yet. I've never actually seen him attack with it, but he always just likes to get it out there. I don't know. So Abe does communication for the Gloom. Like I said, getting Vileplume into play, not going to be a big deal. You actually really don't even want to go for Vileplume. It's a waste of your resources for the most part. The only thing it'll do is prevent your opponent from playing Rare Candy, which might end up being a big deal, but for the most part, it's really not. So unless that Gloom is going to be used to get Blossom, I really don't like having that Gloom in play. It's definitely not a horrible thing to have, but it's not necessary at all. I would rather see you use your resources towards getting out Vanillix. You know your opponent's really not going to play Switch because he is playing Vileplume himself, so there's no reason to lock out trainers. But like I said, this is going to be a long series. These games are going to take a long time because both of these decks are very slow. They both revolve around slowly setting up, and then eventually one player gets there, and the other player might get there, and then they don't even do much damage. Chandelure does 30 at a time, Vanillix does 40 at a time. Stuff's just gonna take forever to get knocked out. And they don't even really use EXs. Yoshi might attack with Darkrai, but he probably won't because he knows that it's just gonna be stuck up there for 2 prizes. So we're gonna see 6 non-EX Pokemon have to be knocked out for both sides. Now this match is pretty important for Yoshi. He is on the bubble for a World's Invite right now. He has almost 50 championship points, I want to say. So a win here would propel him farther into the top 40. And that's exactly what he wants. He wants to get a win here so he can solidify his chances at a World's Invite. Abe really doesn't have much to play for besides pride and that first place victory cup, of course. But there's definitely a lot on the line for Yoshi. Abe, he doesn't have many championship points, but he's still a threat to win here. So we do see a Sage's training from Yoshi. He's going to play that communication. What will he get? He's going to shuffle a Shaman in. He does play multiples. And he's actually going to go for Vileplume. Interesting. It's going to prevent Abe from playing his rare candies, but like I said before, it's really not going to impact the game too much. And there's the rare candy into Vileplume. So there's a Chandelure as well, and a Mew Prime. So we're going to see some deck and cover action. So if you don't know what the deck is designed to do so far, you want to use Mew Prime to use Excelgor's deck and cover. Now that will paralyze and poison your opponent, and you have to shuffle the Mew back into your deck. Then you will promote Chandelure, which will then use Curse Shadow, its ability. You place 3 damage counters somewhere on your opponent's field, and then you retreat for free because of Darkrai, and then you can set up another Mew, deck and cover, lock them in place, and then keep using Curse Shadow. So this is a very elaborate setup deck that's pretty complicated to use, really complicated to set up. And once you get it going, it's actually really, really strong. It's a cool combo, but it does take a lot to set up. So now Abe does play an N, which is good to use right after your opponent uses Prehistoric Wisdom. And let's see how Abe plays the rest of his turn out. He really doesn't have a whole lot going for him. He's actually locked out of trainers for the rest of the game, so he won't be able to play Rare Candy or Communication. It's going to be tough to find his stage 1s or his stage 2s without Communication, especially because he can't play Twins right now. Yoshi has not taken a prize yet. And it looks like Yoshi is pretty much set up completely. All that's left for him to do is start attacking or using Curse Shadow. Either one's going to be good. He'll probably use Curse Shadow, just kind of spread damage around Abe's field and not take any prizes for a while. So he doesn't give Abe any access to Twins. And if I had to guess right now, I would say Yoshi was probably a big favorite in this game. Abe's got a lot of low hit point Pokemon on his field, like the Cleffa, Victinis. Those are all things that Chandelure likes to pick on. And Abe still doesn't even have the Vanillish into play. It's going to be a tough game for him. He also discarded his Blossom on the first turn of the game, which would be nice to deal with the Curse Shadow spread damage, but he doesn't have it, so I don't know what he's going to do. So Abe actually has to read the Chandelure. It's probably not going to be a good sight for him once he realizes what it does. He's probably going to realize he's in a bit of trouble. He also has to read Excelgor. So he really has no idea what Yoshi's trying to do, apparently. So it looks like Yoshi's just going to be content to spread 30 to the Gloom, and that's going to be it. So Abe, looks like he flipped to wake up, and then he took another die. I don't really know what happened there, but Abe is still asleep, and the longer he stays asleep, the worse it is for him, because Chandelure is just going to keep spreading damage around, and there's really nothing he can do about it. Like I said, Yoshi seems to be in firm control of the first game. I don't really know what Abe can do to combat this. Looks like Yoshi's deck just has a clear advantage over Abe's Vanillix deck once Yoshi manages to set up. And it looks like he did set up completely this game. And I don't know, it might come down to how many heads Abe can flip for Double Freeze. He's been pretty fortunate so far today on Double Freeze, so we'll see if that trend continues. He gets a Vileplume into play. It's pretty irrelevant since Yoshi has his out already. And we're going to have another N. So I think if you're Yoshi, you're just going to sit here and not take prizes. Just going to spread damage all around with Curse Shadow and not give Abe any access to Twins. And then eventually you're just going to be able to knock things out over and over and over with Curse Shadow, with Deck and Cover, even Darkrai using Night Spear. You could probably get double knockouts, doing 90 to the active and 30 to a bench Pokemon. I don't think there's anything Abe can really do about it right now. His start is just too slow, and I don't know how he can even go about this. The Blossom would be huge in this matchup, but he discarded it on the first turn. So I wonder if Abe even has a game plan at this point. Does he know how he's even going to try to win this game? Looks like he's just kind of charging up Pokemon and hoping for the best, but this is the kind of matchup where you actually do need a game plan. You need a plan of attack to try to figure out how am I going to go about knocking out these Chandelures. There's not going to be any trainers involved. My opponent gets free retreat. There's stuff like Excelgor to worry about. There's all sorts of variables you have to keep in mind. And do I want to take knockouts? Both decks are going to play Twins. So it's just going to be extremely complicated for both players. And if you just don't think about it and go out swinging, it's probably not going to end up well for you. So right now, Yoshi is just continuing to use Curse Shadow, putting 30 on a Victini. And I think Abe just gonna slowly be picked apart here. And honestly, we might just see one game in this 60-minute match. It's gonna take so long for Yoshi to just slowly pick apart Abe's Pokemon, which will happen. There's no way Abe can get around this. And by the time Yoshi actually takes all 6 of his prizes, we'll probably see like 30 or 40 minutes go by. This is a best 2 out of 3 match, of course. You have to win 2 games in order to win the series. And right now, Yoshi, even though he hasn't taken a prize, he has the absolute board dominance at this point. He has everything he could want. Abe has nothing. Well, he has Vileplume, which he actually doesn't need. Yoshi already has that. Trainers are shut off. You don't need to get Vileplume. And yeah, I mean, Abe, he's just sitting there and using Eek. So actually, Yoshi getting Vileplume out was a pretty big deal. There's no communication that can be played for Abe. There's no rare candy that can be played for Abe. Yoshi knows that Abe plays twins in his deck, so he's not going to jump in and take any prizes. He's just going to spread the damage out and take all of his prizes at once. That way Abe doesn't get to use twins, which only works when you're losing, to search through his deck for the cards he wants. And if you're Abe, you might think about scooping this game because, well, ironically, you are playing Vanillux, so you have 2 scoops already, but you might want to scoop and go on to the second game before your setup is just so far behind. You're going to be so heavily damaged by the time anything gets going for you. And, I just don't know if there's anything he can do. Even deck and cover is going to give him headaches, because it's going to paralyze and poison him. So this is just going to be a systematic picking apart of Abe, I truly believe. And this really shows off how good Yoshi is. He is a very underrated player. He's from the Wisconsin area, and he always does consistently well at tournaments. He comes out with wacky decks like this all the time, which is why he maybe doesn't win all the time, because when you play wacky decks like this, they happen to be a little inconsistent. He has so much stuff to set up in this deck, but once they get going, and he is very good tactically, he really just outplays his opponents and gets easy victories because, well, he's better than his opponents, and he catches them off guard with these weird tactics. And yeah, this is Yoshi in a nutshell. If you guys can remember back to the 2010 season, where that Sableye Honchkrow deck with Cyrus's Initiative was so big, Yoshi was actually one of the first people to use that deck. He pioneered it, he used it all the time, and then it really caught on after it won in a Florida tournament. So he is always trying to innovate and come up with new ideas. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't, but it's always providing something interesting. Now, Abe actually decided to attack with Vanillite for 20 damage. I don't know what's going on with Abe. Are all of his Vanillushes prized? Is that what's going on here? If that's the case, obviously he needs to just quit this game and move on to the next one. You cannot win. It's a best 2 out of 3. Just move on. If there are Vanillushes in his deck, where are they? He's drawn through like all of his deck. He's used Eek like 5 or 6 times. He's used so many supporters, but where are the stage 1s for Abe? He's gonna take a look through his deck. Maybe we'll get a sneak peek and see what's in there. Yeah, it looks like there is a Vanillush, and that was actually his next card. So I don't really know what the deal is. Not being able to play Communication or Twins, those are both hurting Abe right now. He needs at least one of those to be able to set up his deck. And he doesn't have something like Relicanth that Yoshi has to just draw straight from his deck. He has to keep shuffling in and draw 6 with Cleffa. And I don't know if this is going to work for Abe. I don't know how else to explain this game besides it's just one player attacking with a little ice cream cone against a giant chandelier and a Darkrai and a Mew. Basically, he's trying to throw ice cream at a chandelier and it's being burned and evaporated before it gets there. It's kind of what's going on here. He's maybe irritating the chandelier a little bit, but in the end, your ice cream will get melted very, very slowly. So Abe's going to take a look at Rescue Energy, and he'll probably realize, oh, I don't get that back if Cursed Shadow knocks me out. Oh, shucks. So yes, Rescue Energy only works if you're knocked out by damage. It's another reason why Chandelure was so good against these decks that relied on Rescue Energy so much. And yikes. Abe's just going to continue to do 20 damage with Vanillite. Oh, what will Abe do? Why is Abe still playing this game? And it looks like Yoshi, he's just going to go ahead and knock out both of those Vanillites with Cursed Shadow. And now whatever Abe promotes, he's probably just going to retreat and use Deck and Cover and knock that out as well. So what will Yoshi do here? He could Night Spear as well. Actually, he just passes, okay. So if he had an energy, he could retreat and Night Spear, knock out the Cleffa and the Victini. He would have a nice little 4-prize turn there. But the way it is now, it doesn't really matter. Abe is actually kind of locked. What's going to happen is he can bench a Vanillite with an energy, then Yoshi will use Cursed Shadow, put 30 on it, then he can retreat to Darkrai and do another 30 damage with Night Spear and knock out the Vanillite with the energy. There's just no real way for Abe to win anymore. He's going to be down so many prizes. And that's all there is to it, really. He still hasn't even gotten a Vanillish into play. So we do see a Flower Shop Lady. Oh. I think I need to interrupt there. Hold on, he has to shuffle in all of them. I will be right back. Alright, so we got all that sorted out. You have to shuffle in 3 energy and 3 Pokemon with Flower Shop Lady if they're in there. So we got that all sorted out, thankfully. It pays to know what the cards do, apparently. Just want to make sure everything is played by the rules, especially when we get it on camera and we can see what's going on. I don't know how often it's actually going to make a difference in this game, but who knows? It could. So I'm still wondering why Abe is playing this game. He is so far behind in this game. You know, if you're Yoshi, you gotta be feeling great. Your deck is working perfectly. You got the Excelgor in the Lost Zone. You got your Chandelure going. You got your Vileplume going. You got your Darkrai. You got everything. You know, this This just seems like a deck that you would sit at home and be like, yeah, I'm gonna play Vileplume so I can shut off trainers, and I'm gonna play Chandelure because Curse Shadow is awesome. I'm gonna use Darkrai because he's awesome and he gives Chandelure free retreat. And then I'm gonna use Excelgor, paralyze him, and I'm gonna play Relicanth, and I'm gonna play Shaman, and I'm gonna drop my binder, and then whatever comes out, I'm gonna play that too. And you mix all these cards together, you put them all in your 60 card deck, and then somehow you actually get it to work. I don't know how to explain it. It almost seems like this shouldn't work. There's so many things going on. I know what the goal of the deck is. The goal is to get the Excelgor in the Lost Zone, so then you can use Deck and Cover with Mew Prime. You paralyze your opponent, then you promote the Chandelure, so then next turn you can use Curse Shadow, get the free retreat from Darkrai, and then you send up another Mew and use Deck and Cover again, and you repeat. So it's a very complicated, like, 5-step process. It just seems like, I don't know, it's breaking my mind that it can actually work. So it looks like Yoshi does get another knockout, and he's going to take his 3rd or 4th prize, I can't actually see, and yeah, that's going to be the game. So Yoshi will take the first game in this best 2 out of 3 series. Finally, he wins the first game, and we will be moving on to game 2. So Abe really didn't get set up. Surprised he did not scoop up that game quicker, but maybe he was just trying to get information on Yoshi's deck, because honestly, if you sat down and you saw a Relicanth, an Excelgor, a Vileplume, a Chandelure, a Darkrai, and whatever else Yoshi played, you would be pretty confused too, I think. And I think Abe might have just been playing that out to see, okay, what exactly am I playing against here? What does this guy actually have in his deck? And now he knows. He knows what he's up against. He knows he's up against Chandelure. He knows he's up against Vileplume. The Vileplume doesn't really matter. But the Excelgor, Chandelure, the Darkrai. So now maybe that he knows what he's up against, he'll have a better idea of how to attack it. Maybe not. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but that's certainly a possibility. So we're going to wait for these guys to set up once again. This is best 2 out of 3. Yoshi won the first game, so Abe will go first in the second game. Alright, so we're getting started up finally. Then Abe will go ahead and cut Yoshi's deck about 12 times. I wonder if he actually counts how many times he cuts it, like he has a method to it. I don't think so. So we're going to start off here. Each player will draw their 7. And Abe will mulligan, show his hand. And let's see, Yoshi does look like he does have a basic, so he'll get to draw an extra card. So Yoshi will put out his prizes first, then he'll be able to draw 1 for the mulligan. And we will wait another 5 minutes for Abe to shuffle. Oh wow, that was quick. Okay, so we're getting a new hand of 7. Here we go. And everyone holds their breath. Is Abe gonna mulligan again? Oh no, it looks like he has a Pokemon. Is he slow rolling all of us? Is he just gonna show his hand and then shuffle for 10 more minutes? Is that his plan? No, he has a basic. He's got 3 basics. 4 basics. You don't need to play that many if you know you're going first. But okay. He will start with 4 basics. if you know you're going first, you actually don't need to bench all that stuff. You just play it on your turn. It looks like you got a Pichu, 2 Vanillites, and a Victini. And we got a Playground. Uh-oh, that means no supporters in Abe's hand. Let's see if Abe learns his lesson from last game and gets more stuff like a Blossom into play. Or actually gets Vanillites or Vanillicious out this game. You're actually supposed to wait until the person using Playground fills his bench. But, I mean, nobody is going to care if you do it before they do. But this is actually going to be perfect for Yoshi. Now he's like, wait, I don't have to play a collector? Are you kidding me? Man, I wish my opponent used Pichu for me every game. Maybe I'll just throw one of those into my deck. And it looks like Abe did not learn his lesson. He's getting 2 Oddishes. Oh boy. Well, hopefully Abe doesn't go for Vileplume this game. Some people just get caught in a mindset that I play my Vileplume deck, I need to get my Vileplume out. But when you're in a mirror match, you do not need to get your Vileplume out, because your opponent doesn't really play trainers. You're actually better off just going for your other Pokemon and getting Blossom if you play that. But it looks like once again Abe's going to go for Vileplume. And looks like Pichu will stay awake. That's probably not too relevant. It's not going to get knocked out this turn, but it does stay awake. And how will Yoshi use his first turn? He has an interviewer's questions. Oh man. I must admit, this is the first time I have ever seen this card played in a tournament, let alone in the top cut of a tournament. Interviewer's questions, you look at your top 8 cards, you grab any energy there, and you put them into your hand. Usually a pretty bad supporter, but with Excelgor, I suppose it's not that bad. You want to be able to fish out your double colorless energy eventually, and you have to keep shuffling them in, so you want to wait to get them back out. Understandable. There is a rainbow on the Mew. That means he will be able to use See Off to place an Excelgor into the Lost Zone. And there is the Excelgor. Of course, that is deck and cover. For 2 colorless, you do 50. Paralyze and poison your opponent, and then shuffle. In this case, it would be Mew back into your deck, because he's going to use the Mew, the Lost Link Pokebody, to use Excelgor's deck and cover attack, shuffle the Mew into his deck, and then promote a new Pokemon. So, is Abe's start any better this game? Let's find out. Ooh, he gets a Vanillish. He has them in his deck. We did not see one of those last game. Alright, what's next? Looks like Abe has no supporters. His hand is absolutely terrible. But it's okay. He has the Slippery Souls Vanillix. That's actually going to be a big card in this matchup if it ever plays out to that point. Slippery Souls Vanillix is actually very good against deck and cover. Looks like they're having a dispute about Pichu. I might need to come out there. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see if they get the ruling right. You can use Pichu if both benches are full. I'll be right back. Okay, so you can use Pichu even if both benches are full. I know this for a fact. You can't use it to declump though. Sorry, Abe. When I come out there again, I'd have to lay the law down. Oh, just kidding. Um, but yes, you can use Pichu even when both benches are full. You can search your deck. He just can't put anything down. And then you go to sleep. There you go. So nothing too exciting happening here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Abe just get destroyed this game. He does not have a supporter in his hand. He has no way of setting up. Last game, he attacked with nothing but Vanillite. This game, it might be nothing but Vanillish. I wonder if we'll see a Vanillux this match. He does have the Slippery Souls one in his hand. Probably not the one he wants right now, though. So, looks like Abe shuffled about 25 times. Then cut Yoshi's deck 10 times. Yoshi's Litwikes are not reversed because they are promo. Everything in his deck is foil, though. So Abe has a terrible hand this game. I don't think he'll be able to get out of this situation unless he top decks a supporter. Yoshi's start looks okay. He's got a Sage's Training. He's gonna discard, looks like a Twins, an N, and random grass Pokemon that I cannot see. Gets a Lampent into play. It looks like once again he's gonna be slowly setting up while Abe sits there and does nothing. That's about as exciting as this series will get. Alright, he's going to use Prehistoric Wisdom, put a Collector in the Lost Zone and draw 3 cards, and Abe still does not wake up. What does Abe draw? Nothing, and a pass. So this is extremely exciting. Yoshi might just set up again, pick apart Abe's field, and get a really easy 2-0 victory in this series. I think he has a good matchup anyway, but I'm sure he'll accept a free win here. Let's see. Oh, is that a Chandelure in the discard? Nope. What is he? What is going on here? Why are there 2 Chandelures there? I'm confused. Oh, maybe he played Communication. Okay, that had me scared for a second. Like, why is he collecting for Chandelures? This doesn't make sense. But no. I believe he played Communication. I'm just gonna assume. I don't know what else happened. Because I really don't know what happened. But Yoshi's pretty trustworthy guy. I assume he's doing everything right. So now, this is what we're gonna see happen once again. Oh, he top decked Nox New Theory. Okay, Abe's got a shot at this game. Pichu is asleep still, unfortunately, but Abe's gonna have some hope here. He's gonna have some life. Hopefully he gets his Blossom into play. And Hustle Step will start removing some of the damage done. Got quite an uproar going on here. Players laughing, having fun. This is a Battle Road. It's a fairly laid-back tournament. Of course, it's very competitive. You could win championship points. which will go towards your rating to get a Worlds invite. So it's still competitive, but for the most part, Battle Roads are fairly laid-back tournaments with players just having fun. You see a lot more silly decks come out at Battle Roads, like Vanillux and Chandelure, Darkrai, Vileplume, Chandelure. I think I said Chandelure twice, but that's okay. So we do see a Tropical Beach that will allow Abe to fill his hand up to 7 cards. Your turn ends when you use Tropical Beach. Right after this game, I'm going to go take that Tropical Beach because it's mine, so that Abe can no longer ruin it with his relentless riffle shuffling. Card decreases in value every time Abe shuffles it. So we'll see what Yoshi does here. He's now got this thing where he can Curse Shadow, retreat to another Chandelure, Curse Shadow again. He can retreat for free thanks to the Darkrai EX. And that's what he's going to do here. This is very reminiscent of the Chandelure Dodrio deck that was very good during City Championships. Coming back with Darkrai instead now, which is kind of strange because Chandelure's weak to Dark, so that's why the Excelgor is in the deck as well. So now, I really don't know what Abe can do. He can't really put down Victini anymore because it's just going to be knocked out by 2 Curse Shadows. Do see a rare candy into Vanillux. I think Abe just put too many targets out there on his field. You got the Pichu, that's going to be a knockout eventually. He's got the Oddish, that's going to be a knockout. If he puts down a Victini, that's going to be knocked out. So I don't really know what Abe can do here. Hopefully he gets a Blossom out. That would allow him to heal off some of the damage that Yoshi has done so far. Let's see, where is it? Where's the Blossom? We need some hustle step in this game. Oh, he puts down another Victini. There's the Blossom, okay. So now this is going to be Abe's real hope. Hustle step's going to heal some damage every turn. And Abe's going to hope to paralyze this Chandelure. He's going to hope for 2 heads. He really needs some accelerated freezing. And hey, what do you know? There's 2 heads for Abe. So 80 damage. It's gonna do 80 to the first Chandelure. Maybe Abe's got a shot at this game. Next turn he'll be able to just do 60 with Frost Breath, get a knockout. So that's really good for Abe. Then it's gonna come down to probably Excelgor. Abe does not have space for his Slippery Souls Vanillux, unfortunately, that he will need to use to get out of Excelgor, the Paralysis Lock. I think Yoshi, if he is able to keep Abe paralyzed with Excelgor, he will end up winning this game and the series. If Abe can manage to get the Slippery Souls guy out, he'll have a good shot at winning, I think. Not only will he be able to get out of the paralysis, but also he'll be able to switch his guys around, keep healing them off with Hustle Step, and he'll go from there. So, now what will Abe do? He's going to Hustle Step. Looks like he'll probably just use Frost Breath and get a knockout here if he has 2 waters on the Vanillux. And let's see. Once Yoshi's deck does set up, it is extremely good. This Excelgor, Chandelure, Darkrai thing is really, really good. It's got the Paralysis Lock, and then it goes into the Chandelure, which provides additional damage with Curse Shadow, It's just actually very good. We do see 2 heads again from Abe. Alright. 2 double freezes, 4 heads, 2 knockouts. Or 1 knockout, sorry. Getting ahead of myself. So, Abe's flips might be the only thing keeping him in this game. And it could come to a point where he just knocks out all of Yoshi's chandelures. And then Abe could actually win this game. So Yoshi does not have the benefit of rescue energy in his deck. We are tied 5-5 in this game so far. So this turn I think we'll see Curse Shadow, and then he'll retreat into Excelgor and use deck and cover. Well, he'll retreat into Mew, which he uses Excelgor's attack deck and cover. So, a lot of decisions to be made. The Vileplume mirror matches are very much a chess match, where one move can cost you the whole game. You have to calculate every step of the way. If you don't plan ahead, you're probably going to lose. The Vileplume decks really slow the game down, and when both players are using Vileplume, it goes even slower, and every single action counts. The games are going to take a really long time. There's no way around that. So, now that I mentioned that, time very well could be an issue here. I don't know how much time is actually left in the round, but it's gotta be somewhere close to done. Probably like 10 minutes. So if Abe cannot win this game, he does lose the match. He might not have enough time. He needs to take at least 4 prizes for this game to count. Which, I don't know if he can pull it off, but we will find out. So there we go, there's a deck and cover. It's going to hit Abe for 50 plus poison and paralysis. Of course, Abe is using damage counters, so can't actually see what's going on his field. I'm not about to count all the different colored damage counters. Those are like the silly beads you got back in the base set theme decks, where you just slam a bunch on the table, do 60 damage, 6 damage counters, and they cover up the entire picture of your card. Yep, Abe still uses those. And it looks like he's got almost Vanillix themed damage counters. I can't tell if they're green or blue, but some of them are blue at least. Looks like they're ice cream cones. So Abe will play Collector here. I'm not sure how Yoshi's going to attack the rest of this game. It'll be tough. Not sure how much damage is on the active Vanillix. I wish I knew, then I could give a little more insight. But Hustle Step will remove 10. It'll take 10 off the Oddish, which is a big deal. That makes it tougher for Curse Shadow to get a knockout on the Oddish and the Vanillix. And oh, Abe forgot to use Hustle Step. Oh, that's going to be a big mistake for Abe. It's 10 damage he could have healed off of 2 Pokemon. It's got to make Yoshi smile, though. Saying thanks for making my job easier. So I think Yoshi's going to get a double knockout this turn for sure. And it's going to be all about... can he keep getting these Excelgors out? And can he keep using deck and cover? The tough part about this is just getting back your double colorless energy. If you can keep getting those back, you can keep using deck and cover. But if you don't, you might have to pass a couple turns. So right now we have an N. Both players will draw 5. Notice how Yoshi is playing the N before he uses Curse Shadow. So he will draw his 5 cards, and then he will take his prizes and get additional cards, as opposed to playing the N after he took his prizes, which would allow him, which would force him to take less cards from his prizes, because he would have taken his prizes and then shuffled in and had to draw 3 from N. Now he gets a beefy 5-card hand plus 2 more, so he has 7 cards. So notice how the subtle thing like changing the order of your cards can change absolutely everything. And Yoshi will be comfortable here. He's going to use Tropical Beach to draw a card. He's down to 3 prizes. Abe still has 5. Time's going to be a factor here. That Pichu's going to be a factor here. I just don't know if Abe can pull this one out. He really needs to get another Vanillux into play. Benching that V-Create Victini was probably not a good idea. He needs all the bench space he can get. He needs the Slippery Souls Vanillux into play. Oh, what can Abe do? So now we will see Abe cut Yoshi's deck 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And then draw 5 for his N. Yoshi will draw 3. We do get another Vanillite. That is what Abe wanted. Notice how Yoshi promoted the Oddish. He realizes, okay, I don't need this anymore. I need to promote something for this turn. And Abe's actually going to use Tropical Beach. Huh. Not a bad idea. He realizes how important it is to set up another Vanillux, so I don't mind that play at all. So we do see a Sage's Training from Yoshi. Couldn't really catch what he discarded there, but probably nothing too useful. It looks like he's just going to use Tropical Beach too, so that actually gave Abe a turn to set up. Both players recovered from N thanks to that Tropical Beach. We have another energy on this Vanillite. And a Twins, okay. So this will allow Abe to search for any 2 cards he wants. That's a really good thing for him. He can start getting another Vanillux into play. But I think the longer Abe waits, the more it's going to benefit Yoshi. Yoshi is ahead on prizes. If he can just keep getting energy in play to use deck and cover, I think he ends up winning this game. I don't think there's any way Abe can avoid it. He needs to get a second Vanillux into play, and then the third one being the Slippery Souls one to avoid paralysis. So, and hey, there's the Slippery Souls one, okay. So maybe he can use Slippery Souls this turn and knock out something besides this Oddish. Huh. Maybe that'll be the game changer. Let's see, Abe tried to use Frost Breath, but he only has 1 water, so he needs to double freeze. We have 2 tails. Oh man, is this really gonna end up this way? 3 tails. Okay, he got 1 heads. And Yoshi's laughing, thinking he almost got away with 1 there, but nope, Oddish is knocked out. So, how is this actually gonna play out? This is very, very strange. I have never seen an Excelgor, Mew, Chandelure, Darkrai, Vileplume versus Vanillux, Victini, Vileplume deck. So, Abe recognized that he needed to get that Slippery Souls Vanillux into play. You can see Abe actually adapted very well from the first game to the second game. In the first game, he just went with his standard VVV Vanillux Victini, Vileplume, and it didn't work. You know, you don't need the Vileplume. And then he realized, oh, I'm up against a strange status condition deck just like mine. So he adapted this game. He went for Blossom instead of Vileplume. He's got the Slippery Souls Vanillix in play. And he's going to give himself a shot at winning this game. So he did make a big adaptation from Game 1 to Game 2. You have to cut him some slack because, honestly, he had no idea what he was facing. Yoshi's deck was just so weird that it probably just took a game for him to soak it all in. But once he realized what was going on, it's all good. Now, the problem for Abe is just that Pichu on his bench and the Victini with 60 points. I don't know. Maybe he just has too many targets. And he's going to send up Relicanth. Huh. And pass. Alright, he's going to Tropical Beach. This is very strange. Yoshi might actually lose this game. I don't know. With Hustle Step and Double Freeze, he could actually be in quite a bit of trouble. The only thing against Abe is the time and the Pichu on his bench. But after he knocks out this Relicanth, I think the game is all tied up. So we do have a Sage's training from Abe. If Abe were to play a Seeker, I think that would be one of the things that would help him win this game. If he could pick that Pichu up off of his bench with Seeker. We do have a Sage's training. Hopefully Abe remembers to discard the cards this time, not shuffle them into his deck. Alright, good, he does remember. So here is the Double Freeze. We have 1 heads, I believe. 2 heads. That's going to be a knockout. So Abe, that's actually unlucky double heads there. You actually want another turn to be able to use Hustle Step and heal off your Vanillix. So maybe if you're Abe, you would consider reflipping there to only get 1 heads. That way, you save another turn, you heal off 10 more damage, and you get the knockout next turn. I'm sure taking a prize isn't a bad thing, but maybe you actually wanted that extra turn to heal off 10 more damage. I don't know if that'll end up mattering, but we shall find out. We do have that V-Create Victini on Abe's bench. Will that come into play? I don't really know. I think it's safe to say Slippery Souls Vanillix is actually changing this game around a lot. And Yoshi's just going to send up another Relicanth. Wow. He must really not have anything in his hand. He's going to Tropical Beach for 1. And Abe could win. If he knocks out this Relicanth, he actually takes the prize lead. Oh my goodness. So hopefully we see him use Hustle Step. He needs to keep removing that damage. And I think Abe's going to win this game. Believe it or not, I think Abe Morales will win the game too. Just based on the board position, based on everything that's happening here. If he uses Slippery Souls this turn, switches that Vanillix and gets it out of harm's way, he will win this game, I think. Because really, if you're Yoshi, what do you send out? Do you send out your Chandelure? If you do, it's just going to get Double Freeze to death. If you send out a Mew, either Victini or the Slippery Souls Vanillix, either one can knock you out. And then how do you respond to that? But if Abe just uses Double Freeze here, he's missing a big opportunity. Especially if he does not use Hustle Step. He needs to... Oh... he forgot to use Hustle Step. Let's see... Looks like he does 40 and paralyzes the Relicanth. I didn't catch if he used Hustle Step. I don't know. Abe needs to get that Vanillix out of the active spot. He needs to use Slippery Souls. Switch both of them. We're tied 3-3. Abe does use Hustle Step. Okay, so maybe he did. Abe's gonna fall for the trap, though. He really needs to get his Vanillix out of this position. Oh, but he's gonna do it. He's gonna use Slippery Souls. Will he do it? Oh, no, he didn't. Did he announce double freeze? I don't know what happened. Oh boy, this is gonna be unfortunate for Abe, honestly. I think Yoshi might win this now. So now Yoshi will be able to use Twins. We'll search for any two cards. It's 3-2 right now. But Yoshi could do like a Cursed Shadow on the active, and then use Shaman to move the energy to Darkrai, get a Night Spear, knock out the active and the Pichu. And then what does Abe do from there? He's got to stare down a Darkrai that he probably can't knock out. But no, there's no Shaman. Very shocking. Oh my. He's going to Curse Shadow the Pichu. Huh. And he's going to promote Mew. Deck and cover. We're tied at 2-2 here in the Wisconsin Battle Road. Very confusing play there from Yoshi. Maybe he does not have a Shaman left. I don't know what's going on here, folks. I think Abe can get out of this with Slippery Souls this turn. Huh. What will happen here? And then the other match, we did have Joseph defeating Peter. So Joseph is still undefeated. He will move on to the finals. Alright, now Abe can use Slippery Souls to get out of this paralyzation lock. Both will switch out. And really, if you're Yoshi, anything you promote gets knocked out. I think Abe wins. If he realizes that Slippery Souls exists, he will win this game. A flower shop lady from Abe. Let's hope he uses it correctly this time. Okay, he's going to get back 3 Pokemon and 3 basic energy. So there he gets all 3 ice cream cones there. And it looks like there's only 2 basic water in there. So there we go. Yep, so he gets back anything he can. You have to do everything you can with Flower Shop Lady. There's no up to. Man, this is a very close game. I have to say, I expected Yoshi to run away with this game as well. But Abe, he has adapted his play. He's done very well. He might win the second game. And if he wins this one, I think we could see a Game 3 sudden death coming up here. And when that happens, it's anybody's game. Oh, he's going to try to retreat. He cannot retreat. He's paralyzed. Do I have to run out there again? Okay, never mind. They caught it. Okay, they caught it. Good. I don't have to run out there again. So we will have a Slippery Souls here. And time was just called. Wow. So this certainly could go to sudden death if Abe wins this game. We will have a +3 turns here. We will have a winner in this game since 4 prizes have been taken. So Slippery Souls has been used. So we're going to switch out both Pokemon. I think that's what happened. Abe did point with it. What's going to happen here? This is very tense here in the Kenosha, Wisconsin Battle Road top 4. It's Abe's turn right now. I believe he has announced Slippery Souls, which will get him out of paralyzation. Who will he promote, though, instead of the active Vanillux? He has to switch out. And then Yoshi will have to switch out as well. Very tense moment here. I think Abe would be wise to switch out his own Slippery Souls Vanillux. If Yoshi were to promote a Mew, he could then just use Crushing Ice, do 60 for a knockout. If Yoshi promotes a Darkrai, he can retreat and then just Double Freeze, and then eventually he'll win with Double Freeze. I think just sending out the Vanillux is the correct play. Maybe sending out Victini was good as well. But now Yoshi has to switch. Who will Yoshi send out? Surely he knows he cannot promote the Darkrai. Abe will just retreat, and then Double Freeze. And then eventually, Double Freeze will win him the game. He'll take his last 2 prizes by Double Freezing this Darkrai EX. He has to send out a Mew Prime. He has no other option. And then Abe will get a knockout here with Crushing Ice. This is Abe's only option. He doesn't have to worry about being paralyzed by deck and cover because Vanillux has an ability, not a power, does not get shut off by special conditions. Time has been called. Abe is turn 0 in the second game. There will be a winner declared since 4 prizes have been taken already. And if Yoshi wins, he'll win the series. If Abe wins this game, we'll be tied and we'll go to a sudden death game 3. And Abe's going to use Crushing Ice. He gets the knockout on the Mew. How is this game going to turn out? This is very, very tense. I do not believe there's enough damage on that benched Vanillux to knock it out with Cursed Shadow. Maybe with a Cursed Shadow and a Night Spear 30 damage. If Yoshi has a Shaman in his hand, he could pull it off. He does have the Shaman in hand. Let's see. So he puts the damage on the benched Vanillux. He retreats to the Darkrai. Could be seeing a Celebration Wind from Shaman here. Here it is, Celebration Wind. It's going to move 3 Dark Energy up to his Darkrai EX. He'll be able to Night Spear. Puts down a Tornadus DX as well. Does Yoshi have an N? That would be a big card to have here. No, he doesn't. He's going to Night Spear, knock out that Vanillux. Abe gets it back with a Rescue Energy. What Abe needs to do is Rare Candy, get that Vanillux into play, and start using Double Freeze. He has to chip away at this Darkrai EX. If he uses Slippery Souls, he will lose this game. Because Yoshi will just send out Chandelure, and he's going to lose. Does Abe have a Rare Candy in his hand? This is a tense moment. Otherwise, he's going to have to use Ice Beam with Vanillish. I cannot stress how much he cannot use Slippery Souls Vanillux here. He cannot use the ability or else he will lose. He needs to retreat. Abe needs an energy in his hand to be able to attack this turn. Will he have the cards necessary to pull it off? Man, this is one tense moment. So we're just waiting on Abe here. We are tied. It's going to be decided by who takes the last prize. If Yoshi wins this game, he will move on to the finals. If Abe wins this game, we'll go to a sudden death game 3. It's Abe's turn right now. Oof. Since these players are tied on prizes, this game has to finish. 4 prizes have been taken. Abe can just sit here and paralyze until he wins. Time is not a factor. There has to be a winner in this game. See another Vanillite go down. Does Abe have the energy? He needs it. Oh, what does he have? Oak's new theory. This is going to be big, folks. Does Abe draw an energy off of his 6 cards? If he doesn't, he will not be able to attack with the Vanillish unless there are 2 energy on it. He has to paralyze this Darkrai. So Abe will shuffle, take his time. There's the cut of the deck. We know Abe does have energy left in his deck. He used the Flower Shop Lady to put some in. Does he draw one? Does he draw? Yes! Yes, he draws the energy. Now, will he attack with Ice Beam this turn? Surely he must realize that Slippery Souls will lose him the game. And yes, Abe does... Oh, does he? Oh, he's got a big decision to make here. He knows... He must know that he cannot use Slippery Souls here. This could come down to coin flips. Abe needs to retreat to Vanillish and use Ice Beam. He needs to paralyze this Darkrai this turn. If he doesn't, he will lose this game. We're all awaiting Abe's decision in this crucial moment in the top 4 match. Looks like... Oh, he used Slippery Souls. That's going to trigger Yoshi to bring up Chandelure. I don't think Abe can avoid Cursed Shadow knocking out his benched Vanillux. That's going to be the game-ending mistake for Abe, I think. Yes, that's it. Abe needed to retreat there, but he used Slippery Souls. That's going to be the match. So, Yoshi will win 2-0, and that will be the match. Well played by Abe until that last moment. Chandelure can still use Cursed Shadow because it's an ability, even when he's paralyzed. And the Cursed Shadow knocks out the bench Vanillux, and that will be the game. So Yoshi will move on to the finals. He wins the series 2-0. That was a very close match. And Abe, good showing, but it's going to knock him out of the tournament. That's going to be it. We will have Yoshi versus Joseph in the finals, which was a rematch from the round 3 match, I believe. This is the first time we've seen Yoshi actually win on camera, so this is a historic moment here. Alright folks, I've just received news that that will actually be the last match of the game. Since Yoshi does have a shot at winning an invite still, Joseph has actually conceded the finals, and we're all going to get to head home. So, thank you guys for watching. Have a happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And if you haven't told your dad Happy Father's Day yet, go ahead and do that right now. Just drop what you're doing. Go do that. So, Yoshi will win the event. He's the Kenosha, Wisconsin Battle Road champion. And we are going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks to Outpost Gaming for hosting the event. Gnome Games, run by Pat, who came here and ran the event as well. So, that'll wrap it up. Please pay attention to our Facebook and Twitter pages to see when we're going to stream again, and also when we go live from Nationals. U.S. Nationals is a week from Friday, and we will be trying to stream from there as well. So, thanks guys for watching. We appreciate all of your support, and hopefully we can do this again soon. Take care everybody, have a good night, and we'll see you at Nationals.